Good morning, and welcome to Connections Radio Show. I'm glad you have made the connection and are with us today. I'm Laurie Fitz, your host. And today we are off to the races. Yeah, our topic is on horse racing. And for those of you who love horse racing and love the Kentucky Derby and all of that good fun, we had such a great run at the Kentucky Derby with Medina Spirit. He was just amazing. Unfortunately, soon after he tested positive for a banned substance, and when he ran at the Preakness, he came in second, I believe. And now going on to the Belmont, he is going to be banned. And Bob Baffert, the trainer, is under suspicion. He's had some other challenges in a few other states as well. So what's it all about? Is it hurting the horse racing industry? Is there an impact? And what's up in Minnesota at our Canterbury Downs? And to take us to the racing world and the horse world in general is my dear friend Jodi Wilking. She runs Wilking Tack Supply at Canterbury. She's a breeder. She's a trainer. She's just an all-around wonderful person. And I welcome you to the show, Jodi.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate this.
Oh, absolutely. You've been on the show before. And, I was thinking back, I'm like, how many years have I known Jodi? I'm like, oh, my gosh. I think I've known you for 26 years. Of course, you were a toddler at the time. But I think you are now the age I was when I first met you, which is just kind of incredible.
Oh, wow. I haven't thought about it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had a lot of fun over the years.
Yes, we have. You have been my trainer, my mentor when it comes to horses. You are beyond a horse whisperer. You are one with horses.
You're so kind.
Well, let's hear a little bit about your background. You grew up with a family-run stable, and your family bred horses, some of the best. Well, I'll say the best quarter horses in Minnesota. So tell me about that. Tell me about growing up around horses and that being your family business and now your business.
It definitely was the family business. We Pine Ridge Stables in Shakopee, born and raised. Dad was a trainer when he grew up and started this boarding facility in Shakopee. We had over 80 head of horses there. You don't want to say over half of them were ours, but at some points they were. He didn't have a stallion, but we had just a few mares. He was all about breeding quality and not quantity. And with the small quantity of mares that he did, he was very successful and was one of the top breeders in the nation for quarter horses. With just a couple mares, and had that quality there behind him. And I learned a lot through him and his experiences in dealing with different boarders who would come, and that would be first-time horse owners with their horses coming to the barn, and they had lots of questions. And so a lot of it was trial and error, but that's kind of how the industry is. You learn from your elders, and you figure out what works and what doesn't work, and you just listen to the horse.
And with that, I also want to make sure the audience knows this. If you've got questions today, we're opening up the call-in to ask Jodi about horses, about racing, about questions you may have. And that number is 952-946-6205. Again, that's 952-946-6205. Now, you went off to college to study about horses, and you've also got some other certifications. Tell us about those.
Yes, I went. I was one of those children that, why apply to 15 colleges? You're going to pay them money, so of course they're going to take you. And I was lucky because I applied to River Falls, and they did. And I studied veterinary medicine with a minor in the equine, and they have a wonderful program over there for breaking colts. And every spring in May, we miss the sale, but they do an online auction for selling 40 headed colts that were started by the students, and very good foundation put on those colts. And then I went on to be certified in equine massage.
That was out in Colorado, right? Did you go to Colorado?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
And at that time, eons ago, people weren't too open about it, but yet you could I could feel the different muscles in her body. And for myself, a good massage always feels, fabulous the next day. So I just thought it would benefit the horses. And at the time I was competing pretty hard, and I just wanted to be able to benefit my horses the best that I could, keep them in the best shape and feeling good. And that's why I did it. And I did it for my own horses. And then once people, caught, what are you doing? They started asking me questions, so that I start branching out and doing other people's horses. And horses really respond to touch.
Yes. I mean, I think that's their sense of choice. We're pretty visual. Most of our senses is, wrapped around the visual. But for a horse, I really believe, touch is how they communicate. I mean, they can feel that little fly landing on one hair on their back.
Absolutely.
And so and especially with us, being on their back, it's kind of nice to give them a little break and give them back something after they give us so much. Now, I know you were competing all over the states. I mean, you were down in Ohio, you're down in Oklahoma with the quarter horse world. How did you then get into racehorse work? What drew you to work at Canterbury initially, or racing in general?
Well, Canterbury opened in '87, and I just thought, how exciting is that? But my father really didn't want me to go clean somebody else's stall. He wanted me home and cleaning his stalls and throwing his hay. So when I was a teenager, I didn't have the opportunity to come over to Canterbury. And then out of college, and my name got tossed around. And so a friend of a friend recommended me for the shop on the backside, who Roger Wacker was a family friend, and he needed help running the supplies to the trainers on the backside. And a little part-time gig turned into taking over the shop.
And now it's Wilking Tack Shop? Isn't that great?
Wilking Tack Supply, yeah. And we're a supply store on the backside of Canterbury, and we have supplements and stall ties and halters and equipment, racing equipment, brushes, you name it. Anything that a racehorse would need, we just run to the barns at the trainer's request.
So you supply to the trainers, but if folks wanted to come and say hello and they're coming to the Canterbury, they could come and they could, buy a halter or buy a brush from you as well, right?
Absolutely. Would love to see them. And then, we can talk shop. We can talk if they're interested in, all these racehorses need another home. After they're done racing, they've seen the world, they're sound, and they would love to be loved and to find another opportunity to work.
Tell me about that. Is there a program? I vaguely remember hearing something about a program that helps place racehorses, or is it just through the trainers that make it aware that they have horses that are open?
Yes, trainers are always looking for opportunities to find another home for a horse that just doesn't want to run anymore. And there's an organization called canter.org, and you can look them up online, and you can it's kind of like adoption service for horses. And so you fill out an application, and as horses come available, you can apply to adopt that horse through canter.org. And so Minnesota has canter.org. And then also Doc Pullman, the nicest man in the world, he has a farm up in northern North Dakota, and Canterbury has a program where the horses that have ailments, they're unsound, they're hurt, or something that just cannot be sold privately, go up to Doc Pullman's farm, and they can either be retired permanently or heal and then be adopted out. So there's definitely options out there, and you can also buy privately. You can come into the shop. I can tell you which trainers are selling horses that are going to continue to race. And if you want to get into the racing industry, or you want a horse that's, done racing and you want to make it a jumper or a trail horse or a barrel horse or, a new job, they're all different levels are available.
Now, do people partner in investing in horses and having, more than one owner? Are partnerships open as well as selling the horse outright?
Yes. Canterbury on Canterbury's website, they have different trainers on the backside who have syndicates or groups that come together and for a small, modest fee each month, depending on the horse and depending on the situation, you can own your own racehorse and not put a mortgage down to own it completely. So you can own it with 15 other people and split the bill and enjoy the fun. They send you information on your horse, tell you how your horse is working, the ailments, he had a bath today or he worked today, he races on Friday, and you can come down to Canterbury, rent a table, and have all your friends there and get in the wind pitcher because it's your horse.
And so if you're a part owner, you can go back and obviously you'd want to make arrangements ahead of time, but you'd be able to, have the same pride as if you were, fully owning that horse and being able to visit and take care, be able to give it a little rub on the nose and maybe a treat. Exactly.
Yep. It's your horse. Absolutely. Yep. Different trainers have different, requests. It's their barn and we're going to respect the rules and, what they want done in their barn, but absolutely call ahead, say, I want to come see Susie and give her some carrots, and they're going to be right there supporting you because it's your horse essentially, whether you own a tenth of it or 75% of it. Well, it's your horse.
Well, in our next segment, we're going to talk a little bit about some other programs, the My Racehorse, and then we're going to get into what's up with Bob Baffert and that whole racing drugging challenge. So stay with us. We'll be right back after some commercials, and we'll talk more about going to the races with our guide, Jodi Wilking. Welcome back to Connections. I'm your host, Laurie Fitz, and today we are off to the races. Our topic is on horse racing as well as horses in general. And we have a wonderful guide for our show today. She's more than a guest. She's a guide. Jodi Wilking. She runs the Wilking Tack Supply at Canterbury. And we're talking all about the races and all about horses. And one of the first questions that I have for you in this segment is, what has the last year been like at Canterbury with COVID? And have there been changes? What's up?
It was a questionable year. A lot of the trainers and the horsemen didn't know how it was going to look last year, and whether they, at any given moment, the races were going to be canceled. The state of Minnesota was going to shut us down, and so. Obviously there was no crowds in the stands, and that was the biggest change that I noticed is Minnesota, Canterbury Park is known for their crowds. Yeah. It is just a high bringing a horse up to the front and just the screen of the people coming to watch. It just makes your heart pump knowing that your horse is coming to the paddock and people are watching, and then to have a win at Canterbury Park with everybody screaming, and it's phenomenal. Whereas last year with COVID, it was a lot of the horsemen that were in the crowd, and there wasn't a lot of other people there. The crowds were a lot smaller and, had to be restricted, and it was just a different feel. So this year we're truly looking forward to having the crowds there, cheering the horses on and seeing us run and supporting the sport.
And over the years, getting back real quick, though, I want to make a comment about not many people in the stands. The Kentucky Derby didn't take place till fall, and it was so sad. There was just no one there. It was, even on TV, you look and they go, wow. In some ways, it may have been nicer for the horses because there's not that much noise and distraction. But it was a weird year when it came to racing.
Well, if you think of it as a spectator, just from my competing years, I ran a lot of rodeos. And so a lot of competitors will tell you when you're running a new horse, yes, you don't want the distractions and, different horses take it different ways, but that crowd really pumps them up. The horses know they're running in front of a crowd.
That's so
and
sweet.
So
they're little stars. They're waiting for the spotlight. It's all about me, says the horse.
They know it, and they're proud. So when the crowd is hollering for them and cheering them on, they run a little harder. They know that grandstand is in the view.
I love it. And I do want to make mention, you were Miss Minnesota, as I recall. Rodeo queen. Rodeo queen, as I recall.
Yes.
You had a wonderful tenure doing that.
Yes, that was a lot of fun, and put a lot of miles on that truck going to the different rodeos. And you helped me with that, definitely.
Oh, it was great fun. I loved every minute. But getting back to racing now for just a moment, have you seen changes in the whole drug testing challenges at Canterbury? Because it is a heartbreak to see Medina Spirit, who ran such a beautiful run, get tested for the steroid betamethasone, but that's just like something you would, it was an ointment for dermatitis,
right?
So what's up with that? What do you think about that? How has Canterbury reacted to all that?
I can't speak for the officials or any of that. Right. It's completely my opinion, and it's opinion based. I listen to the horsemen talk and the different attitudes and the respect issues and the opinions out there, and you kind of make up your own and go online and read the different things that are there. But we have this zero tolerance for any illegal substances out there. But on the same respect, our labs have gotten so good at detecting minuscule amounts that there really is, you can have zero tolerance, but there in my opinion, has to be a line drawn of what's an unacceptable amount and what's an acceptable amount. Because there's products out there that have minuscule amounts of different medications that are needed to clear up skin disorders. Mm-hmm. And, if you don't clear up that skin disorder, it's going to flourish. And pretty soon the horse isn't going to be able to compete and do the job that he loves to do. So you have to help the horse out and yet keep a wrap on all the illegal activity also.
Right.
So I truly believe that the officials and the horsemen need to come to an understanding or an agreement of what's a respectable level of different medications and what is, absolutely not zero. Go down to the picograms, go down to, this medicine should not be in the horse at all, ever. Okay, we got that, zero tolerance. Where the medicine like this, yeah, you are absolutely going to use that, 2 weeks ago, a month ago. When did it happen? Mm-hmm. When, because it's picograms, it's trillions of a milliliter. So you're talking to a layman, and when I hear trillions, you have to put that into perspective. It wasn't 50 cc's. It was in a $1,500.
It was in a 1,200-pound horse on top of it.
Exactly. But that's my opinion.
Yeah.
So now I'm here at the shop and got all my inventory in, and we are now looking at bicarbonates, where bicarbonates are in a bag of feed. Mm-hmm. You look at your bag of feed, there's a bicarbonate in there, and it's in electrolytes, just standard feed supplements for horses. And there is no bicarbonates allowed on the backside. And so that's the new hot topic for myself here at Canterbury is which ones can you use, which ones can't you? Because a lot of them are good. A lot of them are needed in the horse's system. And now we're drawing back on even that. So where it's going back to just straight alfalfa. And can you give them oats? I don't know.
Well, especially you don't know where all of the oats, how they get processed, and was it near something that had a trace amount? And for me, it comes down to almost like two separate issues. There's the issue is it performance enhancing, and is it giving you an edge that is that's unfair? The other is, how are you really taking care of the horse? And if you really care about the horse, you don't want to take away something that, is going to cause it pain. But what's acceptable? I mean, I don't know if betamethasone is something that would enhance the performance. You would know better than I would on that. But, it's something that was essentially just to, help clear up little – if you've had skin disorders, anyone out there, you've used a little cortisone, this is, somewhat what this is.
Right.
Would you want to go around with an open sore? It's just – you've got to think about what's going to help the horse and because we know these things and medicine has improved, horses' lives have lived longer. Horses can live a happier and more comfortable life. So what is the emphasis that supports the comfort of the horse, and how do you look at, what isn't performance enhancing? And there are people out there that will try and take advantage of whatever loophole there is. But frank discussions need to take place. And I've always, I'll admit, I've been an admirer of Bob Baffert for many years now. I can't say if this was right or wrong what happened and what was right intention or not. But, he's a good trainer, and he's had 7 horses win at the Kentucky Derby. And it's hard on the industry, I think, when someone that you admire like that. And I hope that it doesn't impact people's wanting to be a part of something as fun and exciting as horse racing can be.
I can absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And in the industry itself, all the responsibility goes on the shoulders of the trainer. Absolutely all of it. And yet, when your trainer is large as Baffert, you have lots of assistants, lots of grooms, and it's a whole corporation bringing these horses to the front side. And he has to take the responsibility of errors or missteps taken by his team.
Yeah.
It all goes right on his shoulders, whether he made the decision or not. It's somebody else could have been treating another horse and then went into that other horse's stall and had a little bit on his finger, and it went into that horse's system. That's how small of amount we're talking about.
And how the trace amounts can be detected at this point.
Correct. And so that's where the labs, the horsemen's, and the state vets really need to have an open discussion as to what is acceptable and what's not. There's other industries that have drawn the line as what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, what's performance enhancing and what's not. And right now, across the board, it's zero tolerance. And I just don't think picograms really enhance the performance of a horse.
It would be pretty amazing if it did. Well, with that in mind, I know I've got to go to break. When we come back, there are some fun jobs that are open at Canterbury that you want to be promoting. So,
super fun.
Yeah, yes. Stay with us, and we'll hear about that. Also, if you want to call and ask questions about the horse world, racing world, any of those good things, you can give us a call at 952-946-6205. Again, that's 952-946-6205. Give us a call. Welcome back to Connections Radio Show. I'm Laurie Fitz, your host, and today we have been off to the races, and our topic has been horse racing. And we have a guide, Jodi Wilking. She runs the Wilking Tack Supply at Canterbury, and she welcomes everyone who comes to Canterbury to come down and say hello.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
I love visitors.
Yes, and I loved in that, I don't know if it was last segment or the segment before, when you were sharing that if folks want to get into maybe even owning part of a horse, you can kind of give them the scoop. You can show them to the right folks and give them what that all entails.
Absolutely. You can give them a rundown of what the financial costs. You know, you can step in it at any level that you want. Partial ownership, full ownership, 10 horses, a quarter of one. Wherever you want to be a part of it, you definitely can. And if you want to test the waters and work on the backside, we are looking for hot walkers. We are looking for grooms, and it's on-the-job training. You have a passion for horses and you want to work with them and be a part of this industry, we are definitely looking for hard workers who will take care of these horses, clean their stalls, brush them, wake up in the morning and come be with these majestic animals.
They are beautiful. I did that when I was in high school. When I was a junior and senior in high school, I worked with quarter horse racehorses, and it's magic. You know, there's no other word for it. It's just magic to be able to spend time out there. So if you like the outdoors and you like animals and you have a passion for horses, there is nothing like it. That's all I can say.
Right. It's very unique.
Yes.
You work very hard, and it's all for the animal. We're all the horsemen on the backside are here for the animal.
Now, on another topic, breeding. You had mentioned in the first segment how your dad bred mares, and you are continuing in that tradition. Tell me about you're looking to breed some of your mares.
I am. I have a really fancy mare that I purchased for my daughter and to show and compete with, and I've always had it in the back of my head that maybe one day I would continue, and I have one mare left of my father's that I held on to and shown and done very well. And I think that this is the year. I think this is the year that I'm going to do a cross and continue his legacy of bringing high quality babies into this world. And I kind of have the opinion of if you're going to breed horses, then however many foals you bring into the world that's how many you should care for the rest of their lives. You know, so that would kind of take slaughter out of the picture. So I don't think I'm bringing more into the chain there. I'm willing to care for several horses at a time for the rest of my life. So I'm okay with my decision in bringing high quality horses to people who want to enjoy them. And I have the stock, so it's going to be fun.
Now, we're excited. What's the line again that your dad bred?
He Sudden Impulse.
Yes.
So he was one of the first breeders to a Sudden Impulse when a Sudden Impulse was just a 2-3-year-old. Nobody knew him. And my dad's friends even went, "What are you doing?" You know, it was a small little stud that really hadn't accomplished anything. And my dad took a chance. And every one of the babies went on to great success nationally, world champions, Congress champions, and continued the line. And some of the top studs now come from a Sudden Impulse.
Isn't that wonderful? Isn't it? Your dad did have an eye.
He did. Yes, he did.
And one of the great things about going out to your Pine Ridge stable, and I kept my horses there and loved every minute that I had my horses there until I had my own place and could keep them in my backyard, was that you were so engaged with folks and helping them get to the next level, whatever that was. Whether it was getting to know a horse and then leasing a horse or buying their first horse or helping them get trained in horseback riding lessons so that they're safe on a horse. And you still do that. You still do horseback riding lessons. And so I want to make sure folks know your number to get a hold of you. And that is 612-701-0056. And you take on new students. You'll train people on horses or you'll advise people on buying horses. Tell me about what you do.
I do what I love. I absolutely do what I love, and I want to keep it that way. And I want to give my passion of horses to people who don't know where to start, who don't know, how do I get into skydiving? I wouldn't have the first clue, so who do I call?
and probably not a good idea to do it with a horse to go skydiving.
Exactly, right? So you don't know where the first step is.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of that with my dad's boarding facility. People would go out and buy a horse that's not a great match, and it was just a wreck. And so they were unhappy, the horse is unhappy, and it's wonderful to see people so engaged and in love with the sport of horses. And you can go out there and just groom the horse and graze the horse and give it treats, and your horse is going to love you the same as if you were the top-notch competitor riding every day, traveling the world. Mm-hmm. You're going to find a match that works for you, and it's all about that match. And when that match is successful, that's when I am just so excited and so happy, because the person is in love and the horse is in love and everybody's happy. And that's more than enough for me. And so if I can help somebody get into the industry and see how wonderful horses are, whether they just want to ride a few times and not own a horse, and maybe they want to try it out for a month, come ride my steady eddies, I call them, and they're going to keep you safe. They're not going to go any faster than what you want, and we build your confidence. And I tell everybody, if you stop asking questions in the horse industry, then you need to get out of the horse industry.
Yeah.
Even Bob Baffert is still asking questions. I guarantee you. He's asking his vets. He's asking his fellow trainers. He's always asking other horsemen. There's always stuff to learn about horses. And so to get into this industry, you just open your mind and start asking questions. And pretty soon you're going to find that little avenue that works for you. And I love helping people get started in the industry and finding where's their road that they're going to take with this unbelievable passion of these great animals. And you can come out to my place and take a riding lesson, see if it's for you. If it's not, then we can call the skydiving guy.
No, the other thing that I think is important for folks to know is that you're also good with working with parents and grandparents. That, seriously, you do such a wonderful job. I mean, kids can have a great passion, and they don't know what to do. Is this the right match? I mean, they themselves might not be interested in horses, but they've got kids that are. And I know you've got a horseback riding lessons, but you also have a kids' horse camp to help kids get to know the horses. And then you can kind of evaluate, is this something that they're going to have a long time interest, or is this something that they were just, wanting to get interested in for this period in their life, and now they're going to be on to the next. But
exactly.
I've seen you do really good evaluations with parents and grandparents and helping them come to some decisions as to what's best for both the horse and for the rider.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And it is just an impression. I started the kids camps because I had so many lesson girls that wanted to own their own horse and have it at their house. And they have no idea the amount of labor. It's not like a dog where you can just lock them in the house and see you later, know.
No.
You have to feed the dog and, clean up. And the horses are quite the same. You clean the stall. You have to feed them twice a day and look for different signs. And that's what we go over in camp. And so that brought on the kids are being dropped off in the morning, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and they spend the entire day with me doing my work. They clean the stalls, we feed the horses, we brush, we doctor, we learn how to wrap legs, temperatures, veterinarian care, and all the different aspects of horse ownership. And that's what I'd like to cover in my riding lessons. Yes, we are here to learn how to ride and hold our body on this animal, but we are also here to be of service to the animal and give the quality care that we can to these these horses that would do anything for us. All they want to do is please us. So why not give it back to them? Please them the best that we can and take care of them the best way we know how and learn every day.
And you also are really good about asking the right questions. I remember I had just come out to lease a horse. A friend of mine at work had said, yeah, I'll lease you my horse. And I thought, well, that'd be nice in a few months, working this lovely horse named Diablo Tuffy. And we went out riding one day and you went, well, are you going to buy this horse or not? And I'm like, well, I was just leasing it. Well, you want this horse, don't you? I'm like, yeah, I do. Well, what's holding you back? Buy it. So, which led to lots of other adventures and me going, yeah, I do want to own a horse. So you inspire folks to go to the next level, which I think is always wonderful, and it's been wonderful for me. Now I have 4 in my backyard.
You put it so eloquently where I just say, I just pushed you over the edge.
That too.
I pushed you over the cliff.
That too. And now I have 4 in my backyard. And,
right.
And with that, we'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll share at the end of the show again how to get in touch with you, which is 612-701-0056. Go see her at the Canterbury, and we'll talk about what it would look like to go to the races and some ideas for folks to think about in coming out to Canterbury, as well as coming out to see you. Welcome back to Connections, and we have been off to the races. Yes, Jodi Wilking of the Wilking Tack Supply at Canterbury has been telling us stories and getting us excited about horses and all the wonderful things we can do with horses, as well as things we can do when we go out to Canterbury. But first, I want to make sure everyone has her phone number in case you're thinking about taking a horseback riding lesson, or you've got kids that want to learn about horses, or you have grandkids that you want to do something special. Now that COVID is getting more under control and we're getting outside and doing more things, why not learn how to take care of a horse? And maybe someday they could even work at Canterbury being a hot walker and a groom. So to get to our friend Jodi, you go to 612-701-0056. And Jodi, if someone comes out to Canterbury, should they just come right to your tack shop and you can tell them what's up?
Well, that's one way of doing it. Yes. If you're in need of some horse supplies, you can just go right to the stable gate and say that you're coming to the tack shop and are interested in looking at the shop. Or if you're interested in becoming a groom on the backside and just have questions that way, they can give me a call. You can call or text, and I'll discuss with them what is usually expected from different trainers and what trainers are interested in new help. You typically will start you with a hot walker where you take the horse after a work and walk them around the barns, walk them, graze them, keep them walking to cool their heart rate down. And then grooms will take them and give them a bath and clean their stalls, wrap their legs, and just rub them down. And so you can work your way up the chain, so to say, and being a horseman yourself.
And if they wanted to come and kind of get the scoop, what's happening on the racetrack today? I bet you'd be able to say who's running and what looks good and what your thoughts are. Would that be something? Because it'd be kind of cool. I mean, you go to the we're going to go to the tack shop. We're going to talk to Jodi.
Absolutely, yes. They can. Well, they have the handicappers up front. If you go to CanterburyPark.com, they can go to up front, and they have the handicappers up there. But if you want more of a personal opinion, absolutely, I will tell them who's the hot trainer, who I like the best, all that. So and they've got my personal opinion.
They've got an insider at the track with you.
Yes, yes.
Love it. So if someone just decided to go and they've never been to Canterbury, give me a 101 of what that might look like for a family that's like, yeah, I'd like to go see the races, but I'm kind of intimidated. I don't know how it all works. What is it like?
Well, there is so many different options, and so you definitely want to give it a try at least 2 or 3 different times and try it differently each time. The first time, You can get your tickets are on sale online. If you buy your tickets online, $2.
Oh my
so
gosh.
what are you going to lose? $2. Come on through the gates and buy them online. Tickets online, I think it's $10 at the gate, but if you buy them online, it's $2. And there's the paddock arena. My favorite is watching the horses come into the races through the paddock and watching them come around, and the announcer will tell you a little bit about each one, and you place your bet and then go and watch the horse race. I'm the walker. I walk to watch the race, and then I go back to the paddock to see the next races come in. And if you're not so much a walker, well, then maybe go to the second floor. They have a variety of different foods up there, and it's a balcony seating. So you get a bird's eye view. And then they also have the upper level where you can reserve a table for a group of you, have dinner, and just sit at the table with table service and bet right there at the table. No walking involved. Go enjoy your glass of wine and your dinner and, date night. What a great date night or girls' night. It is intoxicating. You'll just fall in love with the place. There's so much to do, and each night is different.
And are you fully open now? If our folks are vaccinated, they don't need to wear a mask, or is there mask still requirements? Do you know what's up with all of that right now?
I would not quote myself, but I think being that we're outside, there is restrictions on the number of people, but inside you're wearing your mask, and if close quarters you're wearing your mask, but we are back to having the crowds. And this year's changed. We've always been Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday racing, the weekends.
Yeah.
And this is the first year that we are now Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday right now. And in June, we'll bring in a Sunday.
How fun.
They start at 5:00, and on Sunday they start at 1.
And I bet the Tuesday would be great fun. Not quite as big a crowd, but, just to be able to have it more a little bit to yourself until people get used to going to Tuesday. I think I might do a Tuesday just to see what it's like. Well, we only have a minute.
For me, it's always fun.
We only have a minute left. Is there anything, parting words that you want to make sure that folks know about Canterbury and your shop or anything else?
Well, Canterbury has a variety of activities. They have food trucks that come in. They have wine tasting, beer tasting, craft shows, so much more than just the horse racing, along with the card games. Come play poker night for the weekend. Your husband could be playing poker. You could be watching the horses. There's such a variety out here to do. And don't hesitate at all to get into the horse industry. Come enjoy these horses. No experience necessary. We will teach you and get you started.
And you can reach Jodi about the Wilking Tax Supply at Canterbury at 612-701-0056. And you can have her as your insider at the track. Thanks so much, Jodi, and have a great week, everybody. Get connected and go out to Canterbury.